Welcome back to another edition of Green is Good. We're here in beautiful downtown Vancouver at the ISRI edition of Green is Good. And why I say the ISRI edition, this is ISRI's annual conference here in Vancouver this year for the first time ever. And Green is Good is broadcasting from the beautiful Downtown Convention Center in Vancouver. We're so excited and honored to have with us today Joel Litman. He's the president and CEO of Texas Recycling. And to learn more about Texas Recycling, go to www.texasrecycling.com. Welcome to Green is Good, Joel.
Great. Thank you, John. Glad to be here.
You know, Joel, you have a family business. I want you to share a little bit with our audience the Joel Litman story and how you got to be running this president and CEO of Texas Recycling. Then we're going to go more into exactly what you do over there.
Sure. Well, it's interesting because folks think of family business. I've been in it since birth. And
right.
Actually, my father and my brother and myself, who have been in the business, got in late in life. We all had different career paths.
Wow.
And my background, I was in journalism. I was a sports writer. I worked in public relations for a family business, but it was just getting to be it's time to move on. And my
right.
father bought a scrap business when he was in his early 50s, and he asked if I would join him, so I spent a week's vacation down there and turned in my coat and tie for a pair of work boots and jeans and just said, this is an opportunity for me, and I joined him, and been in it for 30 years now.
30 years. Right. And a week's vacation became a career.
It did.
A new career.
It really did, and I haven't missed a coat and tie since.
Wow. You know, and I was reading all about you before today, right. Before having you on the show, and I loved reading about your thesis on recycling, on especially the new generation of recycling, how responsible recycling isn't free anymore. Can you
Correct.
explain what you mean by that concept? Your thesis on responsible recycling is not free.
Right. Well, recycling, if you look past, John, over the years, has always been incentive-based.
Right.
To get the material, we have to pay you to bring it to us, otherwise you'll put it in the trash. Well, with costs and so forth and all the low-hanging fruit gone, it costs us now to go get it, and right. Especially now as there's more, you're diving deeper into the waste stream and handling more products that are harder to recycle, it costs to do that. And so right. We'll get folks, and they'll want us to pick up their material, and well, depending on the volume, we'll do it, but may have to charge you for it. Well, right. I'm not going to do that. Well, then put in the landfill, well, I don't want to do that. Well, then you're going to have to pay us to come out and pick it up and send it to whomever to get it made into another product and recycle.
So in essence, really, recycling is another service, just like a doctor, a lawyer, or an accountant. Responsible recycling with the right infrastructure that you have run right. The right way is another service industry.
It is. Now, if we do work with a lot of our commercial B2B businesses where we do rebate them for the material.
Gotcha.
But for the folks that have 100 pounds of this or 50 pounds of that, or they want to recycle something that's very hard to process, there's a charge for that. And a lot of companies, especially the bigger companies, are realizing that it is another line item and expense, and to be responsible, they realize there's a cost, but they're keeping it out of the landfill, and it's being made into another product.
So Texas Recycling, let's talk about Texas Recycling. Where are you located actually in Texas?
We're in Dallas.
You're in Dallas.
Right.
And what core products does Texas Recycling recycle?
We're a large boutique in the industry, and we primarily focus right now on what they call high grades or dinking grades of paper. This is material that would come from commercial printers, offices, newspapers that folks bring into us, so kind of a more high end. We also handle corrugated, chipboard, paper that's made by packaging industries.
Gotcha. And so walk us through a day in the life of.
Sure. Our day starts, we're open 5.5 days a week. Our day starts at 6 in the morning. Our trucks will go out, pick up material from folks that have either generated scrap from the night before, or they're running 24-hour operations, commercial printers. We'll pick up the material, bring it back to us. We dump it, and we'll sort out the different grades of paper. Then we'll bale it up and ship it to paper mills.
Approximately how many grades would that separation be in a given day?
We'll handle, John, paper-wise, we handle about 7 to 10 different grades of paper, which is down from 20 we handled years ago.
Really?
But because of the change in technology and processes, we're able to combine some of those grades, and the paper mills can handle a little more variety.
I mean, Share a little bit about volumes. Approximately how big is the volume that you would bring in a given day, any given day at Texas Recycling?
In a given day, we could handle 200 tons a day. And that may not sound like a lot, but it's a lot of paper.
And how is the marketplace now for recycled paper? Is it growing? Is it receding? Is it flat?
It depends on where it's going. We sell to tissue mills that make what they call away from home tissue. So when you go to when you're at the convention center, you have a cocktail napkin. This is what our paper's made into.
Ah.
You know, when you're on an airline or at the hotel, you use the tissue products from them. That's what our product is made into. We sell to corrugated manufacturers, make boxes. So if manufacturing is strong, then there's product to put in boxes, so they'll make more boxes. We've worked in the past with newspapers, newsprint. Of course, newspaper's a kind of a dying industry, but a lot of folks are using newspaper now in their insulation for their homes.
Right.
When you buy an egg carton, it may be in a gray molded carton.
Right.
That's made from newsprint. So there's demand for it, and it's very cyclical though.
Help me in a couple of ways here understand, and help our audience understand. Is all paper and our paper products recyclable?
Yes, but.
Okay.
Or in other words,
let me hear the but.
It depends.
Okay.
It depends.
Okay.
For instance, well, at home, people will have a pizza box.
Ah, the famous pizza box recycling story.
That's right. And the pizza box can be recycled, but you got to take the pizza out. Because the paper mills, they want paper. They don't want food, they don't want grease, they don't want anything that can damage their equipment. Because they're running the scrap paper through very sophisticated machines, and they're not designed to handle food.
So just like other commodities, the more liberated your commodity is, the more valuable potentially it is.
Correct.
No junk in it.
No contaminants.
No contaminants. So with pizza, it's the pizza that wrecks the recyclability of the box. It's not the box itself. It's very recyclable, but no pizza in it.
Right, no pizza, no grease. If you get, for instance, a menu, and maybe the menu's laminated on both sides. Well, it's paper inside, but the mills don't have a way to get that plastic off the paper.
Gotcha.
So that's the challenge.
So what other misconceptions are out there around the paper recycling industry that you could share with our audience and open up our minds and awareness a little bit more to things that we think that we know but we really don't know?
Well, getting to the first one you said, where everything can be recycled.
Right.
Everything can be collected, because what we really do, we're collectors.
Right.
We don't do the recycling.
Right.
Actually, we sell to paper mills. They do the actual recycling.
Right.
So people will say, well, I have something to recycle. Do we take it? Well, we don't, because we don't have a place to sell it to. And because if we sell to someone, they have to make a product out of it. So it really comes into economics. As there's no product to be made from it, then there's no use to collect it for recycling. So that's a big misconception.
What's the cost benefit though of making products such as this tablet here out of virgin versus recycled materials?
The cost benefits are, for something like this, or for instance this, this is it has a very short life.
Okay.
It's one use, and you use it as a napkin. There's water on it, you throw it away.
Right.
So the mills don't want to go to a lot of expense to cut down trees, pulp, to make something like this.
Okay.
Something like your notepad, you may keep that piece of paper, put it in your file, it may stay for a long time. So they're going to use better quality material to make the paper out of it, or a package. But it's got to be strong. A cosmetic, we work a lot with cosmetic packaging manufacturers. You want that cosmetic box to look very nice and sophisticated, so they'll buy your $90 bottle of cologne or something. You don't want something cheap to do that.
Sure.
So there's a lot of dynamics that go into it.
Is making this tablet out of recycled paper cheaper for me as a manufacturer than virgin, or where does that price break come?
It would. In past times, it was cheaper to buy from virgin fiber because you didn't have the technology, or you didn't have to go through all the processes of cleaning the fiber. Now, though, since the push is on to buy more recycled, the price points, are close.
How about that napkin you have in front of you? Quality difference. If it's made from recycled or virgin, is there a huge quality differential?
It's subtle, but it's important. A lot of manufacturers won't use recycled product to put on the shelves because if you're a consumer of paper towels, you have a white paper towel, well, you see a little black speck in it. That black speck might be a contaminant. Well, Mrs. Homeowner's not going to use that because it's got a black speck.
Right.
It doesn't affect the integrity of the product, but it's perception.
Gotcha.
Where you have a black speck or a brown speck here at the convention, doesn't make a difference to you.
Doesn't make a difference.
You know, but it's the same, it's just a lot of perception.
Gotcha. For our audience who just joined us, we've got Joel Litman. He's the president and CEO of Texas Recycling. He's our special guest today here on the ISRI edition of Green is Good. And to learn more about Texas Recycling, go to www.texasrecycling.com. To learn more about ISRI, go to www.isri.org. Little bit about Texas Recycling now. Is the family spirit still exist there? How many family members work there? How many employees do you have?
We have approximately 60 employees, and my brother Craig and I were the co-owners of it.
Right.
My daughter Hillary, who's 33, she joined us about 4 years ago. Oh. So, you know, we still have the family spirit there. And we're very much a family business, meaning we've had over the years uncles and brothers and other family relatives from our employees join us, and so, you know, you can have 3 brothers in it and so forth, so it's still a family atmosphere.
As paper recycling goes, are you one of the larger paper recyclers in Texas, medium size, or, you know, the tonnage that you're talking about sounds impressive.
Right.
Where is that, and how, and where do you fit in the ecosystem of paper recyclers in North America?
As far as volume-wise, really we're a large boutique.
Right.
There's certainly folks that collect a lot more tonnage than we do. We do really focus on quality and service, and that's where we get our edge, is that the customers that we deal with, especially the B2B, in the printing business or distribution manufacturing, if they need something now, we'll get it to them now. And so that's really been our strength. And we provide a quality product to our mills. You think paper mills may not need quality, they want, especially what they're making, they need consistent quality products. And they don't want, if they're ordering white paper, they don't want brown paper, they don't want a pallet in it, they don't want nails in it, they want paper.
You know, Joel, you and I grew up in a generation where paper was ubiquitous to our lifestyle.
Right.
Hillary's generation and my kids' generation, they're all emailing and texting each other.
Right.
How does that whole email and internet phenomena affect the paper recycling industry?
Well, you know, you're seeing less and less paper being produced, especially in the printing and writing paper and newsprint. On the other side of the coin, John, they're ordering a lot from Amazon and online.
UPS boxes, Amazon, FedEx boxes.
They have to put it in a box. And in that box, they'll put literature, they'll put brochures. So in that regard, the packaging part of the business is expanding.
Interesting. And is your paper going into that kind of, is it going into a UPS or a FedEx box?
Yes.
So that's typically those are made out of recycled paper.
Correct. The corrugated is made, if you look at the middle, they call the medium of the corrugated box, or the facing of it, that's made from recycled fiber as well. You
know, we love on this show to share with our audience, you know, solutions.
Correct.
What's some do's and don'ts for our very sustainably minded audience members out there in the United States and around the world? What can you share as a paper recycling expert, do's and don'ts, to get more people helping out in this new circular economy of paper recycling?
Well, if you're sorting your paper like at home, you want to try and keep it sorted if you can. I know a lot of communities have a one bin system where you put your paper and glass and metal and plastic into it, and that's okay. I want to kind of not disparage our friends in the glass industry, but glass recycling, it really damages the equipment once you get it mixed. So if you want to keep the glass out,
that's best, to keep it as liberated and as clean as possible.
Correct.
How about wetness? Does that affect it?
Yeah, it does, because what the mills do when they buy paper from you, they pay on weight. Well, if paper gets wet, it's going to weigh more, so they don't want to buy paper that's wet because they're paying for moisture. They're paying for the dampness of the paper.
And that doesn't help.
That doesn't help.
So let's talk a little bit about the 30 years since you took a vacation and then
Right.
made a career with your pops. What's really happening? You know, is recycling awareness going up with your children, Hillary's generation, my children's generation, and are they increasing recycling or is it staying flat? What do you feel the prospects are and what is it like in the Dallas and Texas community?
I think recycling certainly has increased, the awareness has increased. You know, from when I got into it back in the 80s, you know, recycling was, you know, you were a environmentalist, a hippie.
Yeah, hippie, tree hugger.
Right. Right. So, but today, I mean, everywhere you go, whether it be here at the convention, at the hotel, on the streets of Vancouver, there's recycling bins and so forth that give people an opportunity to recycle. It's made as much more available to them. The challenge is, though, the quality is decreasing because folks are putting in with their paper recycling, they're putting in their soda can, their Coke can, whatever. So it takes more expense, more work to separate that material.
So if you were meeting with city leaders in Dallas or other cities and they're asking you how to promote better recycling in every category, but of course paper as well. Your idea is separate bins, mark the bins well, so that way each of the different recyclables get less contaminated.
That's the goal. However, a lot of cities today, they want convenience. It's a lot of education, and cities today are just saying we want to put it in one bin, and because it's more efficient to do it that way. That doesn't mean it's better. It's just easier to move the material out. But what happens is then the cities have all this material that's mixed together, costs more to do it, and we're a supply-demand business. When the demand goes down and prices go down, it's going to cost more to do it, and they can't move their material to market. Cities wonder, well, why is this happening? Because you don't have the quality that the mills need to move your material.
How has the rise of China and other emerging economies helped or hurt your industry? Is there more demand because they want to buy your recycled paper, or are you selling mostly domestically, or is it just a wash?
No, China has been a big impact on the recycling industry. They're big consumers over there. They have some of the largest corrugated mills in the world are there. So they produce packaging, a lot of manufacturers over there. So they're making boxes. But again, as the world economy changes, their manufacturing is going down, so they don't need as much. The U.S. has the best corrugated in the world, so they want the Chinese, when they're running well, they want all that U.S. corrugated, or as much as they can get.
Right.
Meanwhile, the corrugated mills here don't want to lose that corrugated to a competitor in China, so they want to hang on to it as well. So it's, that's where you kind of get into.
Do you sell both ways, domestic and foreign?
Strategically, we have in our market, there's 6 corrugated mills within 200 miles of Dallas. So, and we don't have a lot of space to hold that material. So when it comes in, we got to move it out.
Gotcha.
Other folks on the West Coast, East Coast, they'll take advantage of the ports being nearby and ship a lot more overseas to Asia.
Gotcha. Talk a little bit about, in our last couple minutes, the future trends of paper recycling and the future of Texas recycling as a whole. What do you feel like? Do you feel hopeful about where we're going as a paper recycling industry as a whole? And talk a little bit about Hillary and the next generation at Texas recycling.
I think paper recycling overall it's strong. It's changing because, as I said before, the quality of material coming in is decreasing because all the low-hanging fruit's gone. Now it's costing more to get the high-hanging fruit, but also the quality is decreasing it. So a lot of the paper mills are developing new technology to clean that fiber. As far as the history of Texas recycling and the future of it, we're looking to get into other commodities. We've done paper for many years. We do post-industrial plastic. We dabble a little bit in electronics.
Wow.
And we're looking to get into metals as well. So be kind of more of a one-stop shop for our customers.
For recycling.
Correct.
In all different types of commodities.
Correct.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So for our audience out there, this has been Joel Litman, the President and CEO of Texas Recycling. And to learn more about Texas Recycling, please go to www.texasrecycling.com. recycling.com. Of course, this is the ISRI edition of Green is Good. And to learn more about ISRI, please go to www.isri.org. We're here in Vancouver at the beautiful downtown Vancouver Convention Center. Joel Litman, you've been very inspiring today. You're obviously a sustainability superstar. Thank you. You are truly living proof that green is good.
And two more things real quick. One, buy recycled products. And two, always use a paper towel, because the more paper towels you use like this, the more demand there is for recycled fiber.
You heard it from Joel Litman. Until our next edition of Green is Good, thank you for being with us today.